What is up, everybody? WTF?
Yeah, I got one back there too.
Welcome to Funkatopia. I am your host, Mr. Christopher, and this is my co-host. The beat drops when he says so. Make some noise for Mr. Michael Bland. Man, we got some legends in the house, and I'm trying once again to kind of figure out what's the best way to kind of introduce them. This is probably the best way right here.
There are many things that are funky, you know. The time, they're funky. I can hear them in the background warming up now.
They're opening up tonight.
Yeah. But they're hard to describe too. It's something you just have to experience. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Man, how are you going to top that? Oh my goodness.
All right.
Yeah, man. Tonight we welcome 4 very significant members of the Minneapolis music scene that all have a common thread, and that is being the Time Band, aka JMTF. The first of the 4 has been a part of the scene for as long as anyone can remember. Born in Chicago and was playing drums by the time he was 13, taught himself guitar by the time he was 15, one of the original members of the time, and also a member of the iconic band The Family. He's also played with Alexander O'Neal, Janet Jackson, and many more. Founded the Minneapolis Sound Museum, and he's collected over 20 gold platinum albums, Minnesota Music and Black Music Awards, and ASCAP honors. Ladies and gentlemen, the J in JMTF. Give it up for my brother from another mother, Mr. Jellybean Johnson.
Look at him. There he is.
Yeah, look at him. Yes, look at him.
Look at him. How you doing, Bean?
I'm hanging, Mike. I'm hanging, babies. You know
All right,
man.
This is good. It's good stuff. All right. Next, songwriter, producer, singer, and original keyboardist for the time since its inception in 1981. And even before the time, he also held court with Flight Time. And he also has played with Alexander O'Neill, Janet Jackson, Gladys Knight, Rihanna, Vanity Six, and many others. Another important piece of fabric in the Minneapolis sound, the M in JMTF, Mr. Monte Moir.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There
Hey,
he goes.
what's up?
Look at him. Look at him. There he goes. Look at him.
There he is.
Look at him.
Man, it's an honor to have you on the show. Everyone else that is in this mix has been on the show before, except for you. So it's an honor to have you here, brother. It's definitely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us.
Absolutely. And next up, powerhouse guitarist, singer-songwriter, and band leader who has served as lead guitarist for the time for over 25 years now, which is just unbelievable to me. He is also the founder and frontman of the band Freak Juice. He too has played with an amazing lineup of artists, including Prince, Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, Lenny Kravitz, Mick Jagger, Aretha Franklin, TLC, Snoop Dogg, Dre, and others. Not to mention his guitarist in the Sexual Chocolate Band and Eddie Murphy's Coming to America.
Oh, yeah.
The T in JMTF, my friend for many years, Mr. Tori Ruffin.
I didn't know that was you with the Sexual Chocolate Band.
That's a Sexual Chocolate boy right there.
With the spiked hair.
That's me. What is a young pup, man? That was my first gigs coming back to LA.
Melvin told me about that. Melvin Davis, the bass player, was telling me about that. Yeah, he
got
said
a little fusion band together. And
okay, right on, man. Yeah, Melvin said it was hard to
30 years with my fellas. I need my 5 years, man. We started 5 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Last but definitely not least, someone I've been chatting a lot with recently, an acclaimed bass guitarist, songwriter, and longtime musical cornerstone for Morris Day and the time. He toured internationally with the Silvers at just 17 years old, playing both drums and guitar and gaining the attention of the mastermind Leon Silvers himself.
Oh, man.
He joined forces with Morris Day in 1985, playing keyboards on Morris Day's solo album Color of Its Success. And he, too, has extensive credits, including Shalimar, Janet Jackson, Rick Ross, Snoop Dogg, Gladys Knight, the Pips, rounding out the quartet, the one, the only, Mr. Ricky Freeze.
What's going on?
Oh, all right.
Look at him.
Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at Freeze. Look at him.
How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Why you big?
Good to meet you, Freeze. I've been waiting. I guess this is as close as I'm gonna get for now.
No, man, the pleasure's all mine, man. And happy to be here with you all, man. Thank you for having us.
Fantastic. Man. Yeah.
This is amazing. I almost feel like we're just 3 short of doing a Brady Bunch skit.
Yeah, right. Almost.
Man, it is. I mean, again, it's just such an honor to have all you guys here. And I know one of the main reasons why we kind of want to make sure that you were in here is because you guys have been doing this masterclass that kind of just teaches people just instrumentation and stuff. And I want to talk a little bit about that, but obviously we got to do a little groundwork first, obviously. And I guess I'll start with Monty. I mean, outside of the intro that I gave, I'm going to be honest. I know so little about your history, and I'm sure it's by your masterful design that it's. But I guess I can start with this question. What is your story of getting connected with the original time? I mean, how did that all start? Who connected you, and how did that journey begin?
That started when I was back in college, going to Augsburg College, and a buddy of mine called me up, Tom Lund, and the Flight Time was playing at the Nakarima, which is a little black club in South Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's American backwards. The Nakarima Club.
Yeah, the Nakarima.
I said, what am I?
And apparently Bean and Terry and Monk, sax player, were the only guys that were there that night. So Terry had called Tom, and Tom had called me and say, "Can you guys come down and just play, fill in because we don't have anybody." So I went down, and Terry asked me to be in the group that night, and then I was with Flight Time and Bean and them for, I don't know, a year and a half, and then the time, we morphed into the time after that. Man,
it's just incredible. And you kind of, just thinking about just your journey and everything else. I mean, and even musically, is there more albums from you solo wise than the one that I'm aware of, which is this one here?
No,
This Side of Paradise. This is the only solo album. Is there?
that was a lifetime ago, but I am working on
Yeah,
another one. But
and this year,
coming
just so you
eventually.
know, next year is his 25th anniversary because it was released in 2001, I think it was.
Yeah, I think that's right. That was a long time ago.
Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah. Look at this record.
Just look at it. will you?
Just look at it.
I'm actually fine. But I mean, and your journey along the ways has been amazing because I mean, with you're still doing pretty well. Janet Jackson's Pleasure Principle, that was definitely a highlight on the resume for sure. A lot of people don't know that. Explain your ties to Janet Jackson and the Pleasure Principle and that whole scenario.
Well, I was working with Flight Time, Terry Lewis, Jimmy Jam for year and a half, something like that. And that was one of the projects that came up in their camp, and wrote a song with her in mind, and that was it. Knocked
Nice.
it out in a weekend, or with her anyway. She came in on a Friday. I handed her the demo or the tape, and she sang Saturday, Sunday. We were done.
Who sang on the demo?
Me.
Yeah.
Just, just to get the melody going, for her.
I like that.
There's so little I know about Monty, to be honest.
I know that's what I started with. I was like, his history is just like strategically kind of, layered in the background.
I know a little more than you do, just because I know he.
I'm sure you do.
Also, If You Were Here Tonight is yours, right, Monty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Monty wrote If You Were Here Tonight.
Yeah.
Alexander O'Neill.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, I saw you in Studio B one time at Paisley, and maybe you were telling me about Lobby Sifri at that time.
I could be, yeah. I worked with him, a couple songs on him.
And he's the guy who wrote it.
If that ever saw the light of day or not, but we did do a couple songs together, and I'm not sure because he had come out of retirement, I think.
Okay.
They kind of coaxed him out, and then I don't know I don't think it ever saw the light of day. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
well, you and David Z always worked with like people across the world, man. He had Angelique Kidjo at Paisley.
Yeah.
He had Colin Hay from Men at Work there. I mean,
a lot of English artists for a while. Junior
Yeah.
Giscombe and Stephen Dante and a bunch of people like that. But yeah.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to commandeer the.
No, it's fine.
That's Christopher. I just
co-host means you have to commandeer at some point.
Yeah, I can be
I
a
like when
bully,
you
though.
do it too, but I like how your mind works like mine. So it's just like if I got a question, it's got to come out right now.
I'll forget in
I know.
1 minute.
I know, but but here is something interesting, and I have to ask you, Monty or Jellybean. Either one of you can answer this question. Because this is something I wondered about. This is kind of, again, how my brain works. Both of you worked with Alexander O'Neill, who was supposed to be the lead vocalist of the time, but reportedly his demands to sign on the dotted line, I guess, was a little too demanding. And he didn't get that lead vocalist spot for the time.
I bet you guys are sick of telling this story, but
have you
it
both?
doesn't get old.
No, but you both work with Alex. When you're working with, did he ever mention any regret or bring that up at all, or
not to me? No,
not to me, man. Me and Alex had to have a come to Jesus moment. Time. And after we had that, then I was lucky to get criticized out of him and used, and he showed me respect because at first, Monty will tell you this: if you didn't have his respect, he was gonna run over you. That's just bottom line. And I wasn't at the famous meeting because, remember, Morris was supposed to play the drums in the time. And Monty was at the famous meeting. Yeah. And once again, Alex was being Alex at the meeting. And Michael, Prince.
Yes.
After the first 2-3 words he said, Prince
I can see the little heels getting up and walking out. I can see it.
Yeah, we
got that call from Morris. Like, Bean, you're going to play the drums.
We went to a Perkins.
Yeah.
With me, Prince, Terry, Morris. I don't know if Jimmy was there. I think he might have been there.
Yeah, he was there.
And Prince was saying, we might have this deal with you guys with Arc Records, which is Earth, Wind, and Fire's label at the time.
Yeah.
And Alex just started saying, well, you know, Prince, I need some paper. And he kept saying, man, I need some paper. And Prince is saying, Alex, we don't even have a deal yet. We don't have any money. You know, we're just having a conversation here. And by the end of the meeting, Prince walked out of the parking lot and said, we're done.
Yeah.
Give me a call.
That's all right. Good for me. Good for me.
Yeah, it worked out great because we all played together. We were all hoping to stay together, you know.
Now, wait a minute, Monty, I'm sorry, I don't mean to single you out, man. But my life has been, I littered with white musicians who've integrated into black environments.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, what is the transition? What is the psychology? How do you enter an environment like that? Did you just have a ton of black friends when you were growing up, so it was no big deal?
I didn't actually, but
Monty played hockey.
I played hockey growing up.
There's no black people in hockey.
But
not then.
No, but I wasn't I wasn't in the environment, if that's what you mean. And my first real introduction was getting into Flight Time, the local group. And I don't know. I actually didn't think a lot of it in that sense. I liked the music.
It's just music. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't grow up, we grew up as Bean knows, there's like a radio in town called KQRS, and they used to play Earth, Wind, and Fire, Hendrix, Zeppelin,
everything.
Little River Band. Everything you could imagine across the board, and that's what we grew up with, and I just loved it all,
Sure.
And then I got in, with Terry and Bean, and it was like, man, there was a groove there I had never heard for me before.
Yeah,
I had been kicking around in other bands, but there was a thing there that was like, wow, okay, this is a little different thing here, and I just loved it.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like any sort of like color or racial oriented thing. I'm talking about colloquially, just like the language. Like, were you just following along?
I guess so. I don't know.
Was the language that they spoke the common language that you recognized and understood?
Monty was just a soulful white boy. Remember Bobby Caldwell's "What You Want to Do for Love"?
Oh yeah,
getting the hell out of that.
Yeah,
he fit right in with us, man. He got it.
The thing is,
I didn't feel like a huge transition or anything.
Yeah,
Monty presents so demure though, and you guys are like human cartoon characters like me. Yeah, I'm saying there's a side of Monty I just don't know.
Mike, don't let him fool you.
No.
Don't let him fool you.
It's cool. Listen, I spent time with Fink.
Don't push him. Don't push him, Mike.
I got you. I've seen Fink. I've seen Barbarella on the edge. I don't want to see Monty on the edge too.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
It takes a minute.
I wonder if it's like who was it that said that what's it talking about, like the white guy in the black gang that's probably done more stuff to get those black guys respect.
Dave Chappelle, yeah, he said
that's Monty. I got it. I got it.
Oh my gosh. And I find it interesting though, is like after Alexander left, you guys both work with Alexander O'Neill after this whole time scenario.
Yeah.
And Monty, you too, with Paul Peterson left the family, and didn't you work on his solo album also?
Yeah, he's got a badass song on that album.
Yeah, I know. So
that's
I know.
Song. Go play that song on Paul's first record. That song Monty did.
Yeah, we did 2 songs. Can't get enough and Tell Me.
Go play Can't Get Enough.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're going to do that, man. All right, so Jellybean.
Yeah.
As many times as you've been on the show, we do this. We always enter into hangout mode if we just sit and just talk. And I've never really asked about your progression to, going from the time and everything over to the Janet Jackson camp and some of that, and even to the same connected scenario. Any response or feedback that you got from Prince during that period of time, and just kind of explain that window.
Well, I was in Jim and Terry's camp doing the Control record, and I met Janet. She's 18 years old, and she was little fat girl. I think we thought she was pregnant. Actually, she probably was. We didn't get her business like that. And so I played you know, I was playing guitar on different stuff like You Can Be Mine. That was my first you know, guitar solo stuff on her, you know. And it was
great.
It was cool, man, you know, and Nasty and all that stuff. I was integrated in the Flight Time camp at that point. So it was our whole thing is to you make her sound as big as we could, you know.
Sure.
And just doing that, man, it was a lot of fun and stuff. It was ironic too, because when we finally got, you know, she waited till the last minute with Rhythm Nation. Rhythm Nation almost didn't see light of day, you know, because of the business shit that went down with Control. She was not, you know, trying to have it on Rhythm Nation again. So they figured out the business and stuff. And so Rhythm Nation was pretty much done. And she came to me with a little cassette with a little piano riff with the riff from Black Cat on it. And, you know, she approached Terry and Jimmy with it, and they immediately told her, go see Bean, because they thought they were done.
Yeah.
You know, and so she came to me, she said, Bean, can you do anything with this? And mind you, the Black Cat riff is a piano. It's on there, piano. I listened to it. Now, mind you, I'm listening to all the metal bands then, Rat, you know, Dokken, White Snake, all that shit, you know. all them bands, Black Sabbath, you know, all that shit.
Yeah.
You know, I used to walk around the Flight Time with a fucking BC Rich, you know, you know, with an expensive ass BC Rich playing, you know, rock solos on different things. And so
cool. Yeah.
And so we got together, and one night, you know, it's kind of like Monty. I called her to the studio, her and her fiance at the time, Renee, and we're in there, and my fiance. And so we're in there, we're starting to work on it, and I'm noticing I'm not getting nothing from her. So her fiance, Renee, comes up, she said, Bean, you know you're not going to get nothing out of Janet as long as me and your fiance is here. They got to go. I said, I said, baby, you got to go. She didn't like it, but you take your ass back to our house. Mm-hmm. And Renee said, I'm going to leave too. And we got in there. Once they left, I told her I wanted her to sound like a rock and roll queen on it. I had cut the tracks beforehand. I did one side with Marshall, and the other side is what my other solos were through a Rockman back in them days. You threw a Rockman direct through the board. Yeah. Cranked. And that's, you know, that's why all my solos, Innocent and all that shit, Fishnet, all that came from that. Yeah. And I got Dave Berry in because I wanted to sound authentic as possible. I got him to do it and to play the tracks. And there's one side is Marshall, and the other side is a rock band. And so we had this big, huge, bigger than life rock track. And I just told her, I want you to sound like a rock and roll queen on this. And the minute we got everybody out the studio, that's what happened. You know, and that's what you hear on Black Cat to this day, you know.
Man. And what was the feedback?
And then when Terry and Jimmy heard the shit, they lost their minds, because all of a sudden, you know, there was no way that song wasn't going to go on the album, you know. Yeah. And it had like 6 number ones before that one came out. And when that one came out, it ran to the top of the charts, because it was at the time when you had all these heavy metal bands was playing. The heavy metal bands were making fun about it. Oh, shit. Janet Jackson's you know, she's doing heavy metal now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they said the same thing about In Vogue. Wasn't that around the same time?
Yeah. Like the Babyface, he jumped on our shit when he heard that.
Yeah.
You did that with In Vogue. Yes. Same shit. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Man. So what was Prince's feedback during that? Because obviously I had heard, I know he was ticked because
Prince, I give him credit. He, you know, first off, Prince changed my life in the first place. He introduced me to Miles Davis. And Miles Davis told me, he said, Bean, I love that solo you did on Innocent for Alexander O'Neal, you know, the solo on Innocent. And just from him telling me that, you know, you get somebody like Miles Davis tell you that, you're tripping, like, oh shit, this is Miles Davis, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, and then Prince was saying, you know, I used to go see Terry and Jimmy didn't know, I used to hang out with Prince. I would leave Flight Time 12:30, 1 o'clock at night and go to Paisley and hang out with Prince's ass till 5, 6 in the morning. So I was there for Mike, you know, for a bunch of them jam sessions and all that. I would be out there, and he'd be up on stage, Mr. Jellybean, I need a solo. Or I got up there one time, I was up there with him and Larry, was playing those Everyday People and shit. Uh-huh. And that's just how he was. I sat in the car with him. I played him Mint, and I played him Pretty Brown Eyes, because I just did that. You know, I just filmed. Mm-hmm. But I should have played him What I Wonder If She Likes Me, because that's me on there with a Marshall crank like a motherfucker, and he would have lost his damn mind right there sitting next to him.
Right on.
You know?
Right on, man.
Yeah. I'm sure
that.
Homer and them played for him later because he gave Homer one of them damn purple Prince guitars. You know, he gave Homer one, but I regret it to this day that I didn't play that for him because he would have lost it. You remember that yellow BMW, Mike? You remember that? Yeah, I was sitting in there with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I don't want to I'm not trying to overshadow your story, but let me just add a little addendum that I actually gave Prince Mint's demo.
Okay.
Homer gave me a ride out to Paisley. Okay. And we just kind of walked in Studio A. This is like right when I started working for him. I didn't realize that there was a protocol. You don't just walk in the studio. I was 18, 19 years old.
Exactly, you were.
And nobody told me nothing, man. And you know what? Prince, I think about moments like that. And you know what? He never just like wilded out on me.
Yeah.
He looked at me with like, you know what? You're young and you ain't never been nowhere. So I get it. You know, like I would be asking him, hey, what time is the flight tomorrow? And he'd look at me like,
yeah.
Don't you know I'm Prince? I'm gonna be on a completely different flight, and I don't leave for 3 days. Why are you asking me about this? He'd say, "Go ask Therese."
Yeah.
He wouldn't explode, but then later I got it.
Yeah.
I understood. Like,
I've been that guy.
Okay, I didn't know if it was just me. But
I always ended up. I'm gonna tell y'all. I always ended up with him, just me and him, a few times more than I care to remember.
Yes,
but I'll never forget. We're at the Orange Bowl in Miami. 60,000 people, right? Me and him backstage. One of these times I'm hating him back there by myself. It's just me and him.
All right.
And he looks at me and he said, Jellybean, he said, I'm getting ready to go out here. He said, I'm just happy my first song ain't gonna be wanna be starting something. I said,
oh man.
I said, damn. I said, I just started laughing. I knew exactly what he meant. I knew it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. I mean, I know what it's like, man. I used to. He'd call me. Well, somebody would call me at like 2 a.m. I go out there. He's watching Last Tango in Paris, eating a bowl of popcorn. We talk for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
about nothing in particular. You know, and then you say we ain't gonna do nothing. I'll see you at rehearsal. But it's like I didn't really realize at the time. It was like you gravitated towards certain people.
Yeah.
You know, and I was too young to really understand that he was. Yeah, he needed somebody to talk.
That was his way. That was his way. It was crazy, but that was his way. Yeah.
I regret that now that I wasn't that I wasn't more observant in that respect.
Michael, you're 18.
I know. Yeah. Out there with them grown men out there trying to hang.
I had the same conversation with Paul Peterson. You know, Paul. You know?
Yeah. Right. You can only know so much.
Paul's
that's out. Fair. Yeah.
I'm like, dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Paul was 17. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Man.
Yeah, come on, Mr.
No, I love this. Is awesome. This is amazing. These are the types of interviews I love to do where I can just let you guys tell stories.
Well, Freeze. Listen, I've never had a chance to talk to Freeze, and I need to verify some things with Mr. Freeze. Did you? My people are from a town called Bogalusa, Louisiana. There was a studio called Studio in the Country that I believe might have been in Varnado, Louisiana. It was close by. And I think Stevie Wonder did some recording there in the late 70s. But do you know, Freeze, do you know Steve Hodge?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Steve Hodge schooled me all about Solar Records one day. He was producing some songs with Soul Asylum, and he and I just kind of fell into a thing. We were talking. I was like, he started talking about the Studio in the Country and Solar Records and so on and so forth. And then somebody tells me, "Oh, Freeze was all over all that."
Yeah.
That was you, Freeze?
Yeah. I was a member of the group Dynasty.
Look at Michael's face. He's like, "You lying?"
Listen, man, music's all I got, man. This is all that excites me in the world. So any new information I could get, tell me.
But we were in Dynasty, and so all of the band members, we wrote all the music and did all the sessions.
Okay,
with Solar stuff, with Leon, of course,
Sure. Not only that, somebody told me you play your butt off on keyboards and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I was actually playing keyboards with Dynasty, and then with the Silvers, I played drums. And,
wow!
And and then keyboards, but drums was mainly with the Silvers.
Okay.
Hotline and Boogie Fever and all that.
Yes, very familiar. I got 3 older sisters. They had all that music playing. While I was trying to get to the rock and roll, they were playing the Silvers. And
oh yeah, that's
all
what it was.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. You got some legends on this show, man.
Yeah, we do. And speaking of, how are the sales on this beauty going?
Yes.
It's going quite well, actually. It's
freesical.
It's been 2 years and it's going really, really good, man. Thank God. And I have a new one coming out. It was all white.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's coming out in the next couple of months, but it's been doing really well, man. Really, and naturally, because it's they made the bass basically because of Prince and the purple and all that. So we just sort of kind of did that, and but it's doing really, really, really well, man. Thanks.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, and I meant to say a special thanks to Freeze for giving me one album that I listen to every now and then.
Wow.
And the Daisies.
Daisies, is it?
Oh, you really went there, didn't you? You really dug that out, didn't you?
I really went there. It's right here. It's not much digging.
I'm not sure what that is. What is that? I was looking at.
This was Morris Day's girl band. This was his Mary Jane Girls. This was his Apple. This is basically what this was, the Daisies.
Okay.
So Freeze, tell the story about the Daisies and your involvement in that. While we're here.
Yeah, 1988, we put the band together, Morris and I, and we just got some great musicians. They were really great. And then Sherry Wells from the Mary Jane Girls was the lead singer.
Okay.
And so we did this whole album when Morris was signed over at Warner or Reprise, I believe that's where he was at the time. So we ended up getting a deal over there with Benny Medina, and did this record. And the record came out. It did okay, but I think it was just a lot of stuff going on. But it was really great. It was a great concept, and so we came up with the name The Daisy. So Day is naturally for Morris Day, and Z is for Freeze.
Yes.
So that's how we put the name together. And but it worked out really, really well. And it was just a great time for us. Morris was really creative, and we were writing together. And and Morris is he's a great writer, man. Really, he really is, man. He really is, and so I just don't ever want people to underestimate him and what he can do. You know what I mean?
No, he's a thoughtful lyricist. Actually.
Yeah.
I really he's got something. He has something. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the things I can say at least as a singer and a lyricist, that it even sees, just across even all of Prince's libraries, not just talking about Morris, but everything, it's like there's not a wasted space. There's not a wasted syllable. Everything flows. Nothing feels awkward. No lines feel forced. And that's pretty much across the board with his entire library, man. It's with Prince and with Morris Day too. It's like but that's the rhythmic in him. That's the timing. That's the drummer in. That's exactly what that is.
But I think you're right. There's a thing about the economy of parts.
Correct.
And which Prince completely threw out the window when he got the 48-track digital machine out of Paisley. And the next thing that came out was like, I think Come, like the 12-minute version of Come or whatever. And I was like, how do you know when you're finished? He said, when all of these are filled up.
Yes. Buddy says, don't wait for me but don't wait for me is amazing. I'm just a young man.
Yeah, Tori Freeze did the tell you. We've been trying to get Morris to do that for years, man.
That's such a great song.
Do it, man.
I
want to do
much character in it.
Yeah.
It's so you got to get into that part though.
I love it. Yeah.
And that was my first song when I met Morris back in 1985, and was asked to come and record for him. That was the first song that I played on.
Oh, okay.
There's no way for me. Nice. Yeah, and so that's how we met. And it's a great song. It turned out really great, and a lot of people love that song.
Yeah,
it is. It's a classic.
That's Roland Batista playing the
on the guitar, killing it.
Yeah, rolling, dude. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Ernest had a question for Freeze. I don't know what song you're referring to, but he says, Freeze, what was Morris playing on that bass guitar?
Oh, I left that for y'all to figure that one out. I posted a picture with Morris playing the bass, and I said, well, what song do you think he's playing?
Oh, right.
But Morris is great, man. I mean, naturally great drummer.
So you're not going to say, is that what's happening here?
but has crazy ideas, man. I mean, like I said, even when we did some of the earlier stuff and we did a Corporate World that was going to be a time record.
Mm-hmm.
And, Morris, he's crazy, man. I mean, he came up with some great ideas and naturally Prince loved it. But Morris is, he's really incredible now. I mean, even the earlier stuff, let me just say this, like the stuff that they did in the beginning, those guys were having fun, man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be real with it. I mean, whether it was a 16 track or whatever it was, they had fun doing what they were doing.
Oh yeah.
So when you listen to it, it sounds like that.
Yeah. It does.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could hear they was probably laughing
Yeah.
and recording at the same time. You know what I mean? So because
yeah.
of the humor, so that's natural. You can't write that.
No.
That's something natural that just happens, and so they just gel together well, man. In my opinion, they gel well
absolutely.
together.
Mhm.
I remember seeing a copy of Corporate World in Studio A at Paisley,
Yeah.
and nobody was around, so I was looking at the back of the thing. I said, Donald Trump black version. I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
This was like 89.
Yeah.
Let me hear what this sounds like.
Yeah.
And some engineer came in and I just kind of turned it off and walked out. But yeah, Corporate World, right?
Yeah, with that kind of, but Corporate World, at least some of the pieces of that, for those who don't know, Corporate World was going to be like the next Time album, but then the pieces kind of got scattered to Graffiti Bridge and also what was the other? Oh, Pandemonium, right?
Yeah.
But there was one album that in 1998, the four of you were brought together to do a new Time album. I'm not sure in what the timing of it was, but it was called Old Dog's New Tricks, if rumor serves correct. What do you remember about that album as far as the pieces are concerned? Because I've actually went down a rabbit hole and kind of found out the songs that were supposed to be on this album called Old Dog New Tricks, and I don't recognize any of them. Do you guys remember anything about this album?
It never came out. I don't
think it ever came out.
Tori,
No, it didn't. It didn't.
Tori's Old Dog's New Tricks, ain't you, Tori?
I came in to play on like four or five things with him. Terry and Jimmy were in there, and then Prince was on one of the tracks that I played on. They were telling me, and I wrote something for it, and it's one of the intros that we played in musicology.
Oh, okay.
It's not the intro now, but that musicology.
Yeah, I remember that intro because I love that intro too.
That intro, that we cut that, man, and it was sick. We had to sing everything. Yeah, it was cool.
So on Prince Vault, they actually have 8 tracks that are on this album. And I'll read the 8 tracks and see if any of them mean anything to you. Well, the first one is called Cowgirl, and Jellybean, I think you actually did some recording on this. It was actually one of the demos on it.
Cowgirl, the guitars on there as my boy Ronnie Baker Brooks. It's bad as hell. That song should have came out, bro.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's nasty.
Yeah,
that's that Chicago blues. I did Ronnie's first 3 albums, man, and Ronnie played on that. And Terry hit that shit, man. That shit should have saw light of day. It was ridiculous. Cowgirl.
Yeah, it was nice.
Sorry for all you folks out there that kind of go into break out in hives when you hear about another song that's so badass. You gotta hear it. My bad.
Doesn't Terry have that stuff, Dean?
Yeah, he has all of it, bro. I don't get me started.
We started that
off the program. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, all right. So here's the other songs: Cowgirl, Style. Now I'm pretty sure it's not the same style that was on Emancipation, because I can't believe Morris would be singing about Mai Tai in the shower, so that would be off limit.
No.
So it can't be the same style. Who says a funk band can't play rock?
Wow.
Shake It Baby.
Wow.
Old Dog's New Tricks.
That's Tori.
Players Quiz.
Okay.
North Side, South Side Suburbs. And then the closing track is "And That's What Time It Is."
Okay.
I mean, I don't know anything about these songs.
And you know, one of them songs is some badass Prince guitar on there too, because I was sitting next to him. He was playing one of my damn Parkers, and he wore it out. That guitar is down in my collection tonight with his name on it, but that should have saw light of day too. And I don't know what the hell Terry named it or whatever, but there's some Prince guitar on there that will make you jump out your skin.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'll take this opportunity to say one thing. One time Prince came down to Bunkers. It must have been like the first time he really saw you playing with us.
Okay.
And the next day at rehearsal, he went out of his way. He came up. He said, Bean can play a little bit, huh? And to the average person, they don't understand. Because for Prince to say that
I got him a couple times, Mike. I got him a couple times.
For him to even
pull my coattails, like,
yes,
like that.
Okay,
It's like that.
Yeah,
I told him, so don't let Jesse fool you now. Don't let Jesse Johnson. He ain't the only one around here who can cut.
That's right. Yeah, he's a Bean can play a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, but the fact that says so much about
Mike.
him.
That says mountains to me, because that
for him to acknowledge. Yes.
Yeah. That you know, and he told me privately sometime. He's like, Bean, I need a solo or something. He just laughed and shit.
Okay. All right. I wanted to
because you know why? Because most of it started after the Innocent solo came out, and they thought it was Jesse.
And
that caused a lot of problems.
I see.
They thought it was Jesse, and it was me. So
yeah,
that had Jesse acting the damn fool, you know. So there you go. Yeah.
That ain't me.
if Tori had $1 for every time he was called Jesse from the stage, he'd have a great retirement plan. I've watched it for years.
How bad is it, Tori? Tell the truth, man.
I mean, when we first started, man, Jesse. But over the years, you know, like it definitely died down. So, but when we first started, it was like, man, Jesse, you remember? I was like, okay, thanks, bro.
Like,
I don't know. Wait a minute. They were coming up to you after. They were coming up to you after the show.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I would never bother to correct it.
If it's any consolation, they did the same thing to Sonny. Excuse me, Levy Caesar, and Sonny's looking like, huh?
Yeah.
My name's Sonny, man. We're in Germany. And Sonny just goes north side.
Yep. Sorry.
What?
Sonny ain't that dude with the bed. Sonny, you don't get no more north side than Sonny Thompson. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I was walking in Florence with Sonny. He had the north side hump in his back.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
and he had been out the night before. He was partying with some police officers and whatnot. We crossed the street.
Yeah.
Hey, Sonny, come va? Hey, tutto posto. Sonny, yeah, man, you got it. All right, brother. That's how Sonny responded to these people. Yeah, all right, you got it.
That must be a joke. That must have been the advantage that Monty had being the only white guy in the band.
Yeah, he never got confused with the others.
Never got to get mixed around.
The others.
Well, and just to kind of put a bow in this old dog news tricks, according to everything that I'd found, Prince had actually announced on his website in 2001, Morris, and this is in quotes, Morris Day is cutting new tracks in the park with Jamie Starr producing. What time is it?
Wow.
And yeah, so then, and according to Morris's autobiography, the tracks that I had named off there were recorded, and him and Prince talked about the time opening up for Prince using, I guess, whatever this would be to open up on the Musicology tour. And apparently Prince had told Morris that the only way that, you know, they could kind of move forward with that. Again, this is all alleged rumors and shit, and I'm gonna have to do that trailer thing, Michael.
Yeah, that's right.
Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and put that
disclaimer up, brother.
I gotta put this disclaimer up right fucking now. Here we go. Funkatopia Live is not endorsed or affiliated with Prince. Paisley, what's the Prince to say?
Have Lundell sending somebody.
We're just here talking.
Don't send nobody, Lundell. We're cool, man. We're cool.
All right. So again, this is in his autobiography now. He said the only way that this was going to move forward is if he had got converted over to being a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
And of course, Morris said, "Nah, that's not happening."
Not
so therefore,
oh my God,
all this stuff is so and it amazes me that there's so much music that's in that Prince vault.
Yeah.
That is a result of little things like this.
Yeah.
I mean, not little things. I mean, obviously, for Prince, the religion thing, as far as the Jehovah's Witness thing, was a big deal. But I mean, there's entire like Sheena Easton has an entire album back there that was a follow-up to was the one that had Sugar Walls on it. I can see that. The cover. Private Affair.
Walls, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, there's a whole album that was like a follow-up to that, but I guess there was some little dispute or whatever, and that sits in there. So it's just amazing to me how much stuff is in there, dude. It's incredible. It's incredible. Now I want to take a final. Well, first off, let me just say, Tori, I want to apologize while I have you here, because Tori and I go back a really long time.
We do?
Yeah, we do. Because we met years ago. We met years ago back in the mountains of North Carolina at the Big Old Nasty Get Down.
Oh shit! Oh hell no! I am drunk, so don't bother putting the acronym together for yourself. But Big Old Nasty Get Down is what that was. Yeah.
And it was a studio up in the mountains of North Carolina.
You didn't meet Tori, you met Buddy.
Yeah.
And your alter ego.
You met Buddy. You did not meet Tori.
And there is so many stories.
Hey, Chris, there's a difference. There's a difference.
I know. Well, let me just say, whatever my alter ego was at the time, it was whatever that person was, and Buddy sitting in a room in a low ceiling room.
Yeah,
and I tried my best to do an interview, and he tried his best to be an interviewee. and we had already had a long night because we had just gotten back from we saw Fishbone that night, I think. Was rally.
Okay.
We
were.
Yeah,
that was the time I was playing in Fishbone with Norwood.
Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you were there for that recording session, the Big Old Nasty Get Down in North Carolina. So it was just me and you hanging, and then after the Fishbone concert, that was crazy enough in itself because I had to drive you and you and Norwood's girlfriend back up to the cabin for that thing, and we got pulled over and the car was. The car was that's exactly what type of night it was. But the reason why I wanted to apologize is because I scrub that interview from the internet to save my life.
Yeah, and I now I know that was you behind the camera and my yellow
that was
hoodie.
me.
Okay.
That was me.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it's out there, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I know.
But
anyways, no, I'll just apologize for that.
I read too many Hendrix and saw too many 80s videos. And when I got into time, I was like, yeah, right.
I've made it, Ma.
I made it.
Yikes.
All right, let's get to business. Let's get to business. JMTF. That's the acronym for all y'all's name. And it is very, very cool that you guys are doing this thing, this masterclass. And I don't know who wants to take, you have the backdrop free. So maybe you want to be the spokesperson on this. Whoever wants to be the spokesperson to tell people a little bit about what this masterclass is about. That you guys were working with, I believe was Sweetwater. I think you were doing this with at one point in time. Yeah. So whoever wants to explain,
go rough. You start
off. Freeze and I had our signatures, as you know, and I thought it'd be a great idea for Freeze and I to go to Sweetwater and do a little clinic. And as we were talking, and yeah, we're gonna put the drums and do some time and sell our axes, right? You got a picture of my guitar, by the way? Just kidding.
I do not.
Well,
Chris and I were selling our.
Orange Ruffy.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me. I'll bet you. No, go ahead. Show it now. So there you go.
We're selling our signatures
Look at mine. Look at
And that
one.
Treat me like a step out. Anyway, but yeah. Then we were talking. Yeah, well, get Monty to lay some keys, and I was like, you know what? Let's just all four do it. Blah blah, and it snowballed. And you go to these classes and you see the funk class, you see rock, blues, jazz clinics all the time. Clinicians doing that, but there's never any really funk class from the guys that were stewards of the music. Like you don't see Lakeside doing, or so we've been stewards over the music. Freeze being in since beginnings, Freeze at 40, me 30 years of the Minneapolis sound. So it just snowballed into that. The guy I called Bean and Mon, and everybody was on board, and we just kind of put it together. We went through the songs. We talked about the curriculum, what we wanted to talk about, and then it was a huge success. People really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
So what happens in this process? I mean, are you just kind of teaching everybody the music, or is it just for musicians or people that are just want to kind of hear the background stories? I mean,
Not at all. It's for
who's
fans.
Who's the audience?
It's for everybody. It's for the fans, because Jellybean and Monty will talk about what they're talking about here in Prince, but they also will break down the parts. Freeze will talk about what he talked about here, but he will also break down. We'll give you examples of what the pocket is, and then we'll give you some examples of some overplaying. I mean, there's styles of funk, and in our estimation, there's some misconception of what's funky and what's not. But we take it from the Prince and Minneapolis sound. Now there's some people, like I said in the Masterclass, that's making a bunch of money.
What's monkey?
Okay. Yeah, monkey. And making a bunch of money.
I was like, I'm not gonna ask.
But other than that,
you get a bunch of monkey.
Go ahead, Tori.
Monkey money. Yeah, we give you examples of what not to play.
You tell them, preachers. You tell them, preachers.
It gets my blood pressure up when I see all people overplaying and making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no. But yeah, fellas. But then we just took the songs and we break them down. So you guys can jump in. Like we break down Freeze's, Monty's part, and then I talk about the importance of being able to dance and being funky. Because if you're not, not to give it away, but in this master class, I said, "Who likes to dance?" And then I said, "Well, if you don't like to dance, you better learn to dance, because you can incorporate that into your instrument."
Absolutely.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, it's about performing. It's not just about playing.
Well, it's about performing, and it's about feeling the music, coming along with the music.
Right.
It's not just about the notes, and that's sometimes students will be too intellectual about it. You know what I mean? And it's okay. You can know that, hey, Prince is playing a sus chord here, or he's playing a 6 chord here, and that's fine. And that brings me to one story real quick. Michael Bland. This guy right here, we're in the studio with Deion Ferris, and you know how you never forget certain things? We're in the studio with Deion Ferris, and I'm playing a chord, and he goes, "No, Tori, that's an F sharp, not an F." And this is in the middle chord. It might have been the 5th or the 3rd or something. I don't know what it was. I was like, "Aren't you the drummer?" And he was right, because he has perfect pitch.
He has perfect pitch. He got me too, Tori. He got me.
I was like, dude, he's like, but anyway, I digress. But
that's real.
But that's real. But when student stuff like that, when we talk about student experiences and history,
wow,
so it's real cool.
Michael, you've told me that story a few times, but you've always left out the note part.
What story?
The story that he just told, because you kept telling me the story about walking into Deion Ferris, and there was, you talk about different things that were going on.
No, you know what? Tori was on a different session. They had all sorts of guitar players were playing on that project. We cut for like a year in LA, in New York, in Atlanta.
Wow.
Randy Jackson just pretty much just sent me and Sonny. Yeah, y'all go down. Yeah, okay. Go. Yeah. And Van Hunt was a part of it at some point.
Yeah.
It was her sophomore record, and Tori cut with us at the Henson lot in LA. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the Masterclass. So yeah, we're gonna take it around the country, and we're gonna take it to mainly colleges. We have an offer for the USO and they want us to talk about this at the some Army base, you know, to the bands there. So
yeah,
we're gonna be doing a lot of educational, and it's really educational, but it's for everybody, like the fans. At one point on not to anybody jump in here though, when you know, just cut me off. But at one point, we were playing the walk, and it was supposed to cut off at one point, you know, because we're only playing little sections of it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Up, 2, 3, 4," and they kept it going. They were clapping, and then we were like, and it was a teaching moment for them too, because we're not locked into any computers or anything, and I said, "Jellybean, let's keep it going," and you know what, Jellybean cut, and it was on. So that was a real special moment, and that only happens that if you're communicating and listening to each other and in tune and in lock. Yeah. And it was real special. So we try to convey that with the kids and the people.
Well, there's still a piece if I'm a guitarist and I come to this, you're obviously going to be teaching me and walking me through a lot of different things too. But I think, was it Ricky? I think you put something up on your Instagram showing one of the kids that was, or somebody, not a kid, a person that was in your class playing a riff or two or something that had attended the class. Is there a hands-on part of this, or are you?
Well, you know what it is we kind of dissect everything, and so like for an example, we were doing 7/7, and so we just kind of broke all the parts down, and so I actually just played the bass line by myself, just slow, so you can kind of hear it, because how Prince layered everything, so we break everything down, you know what I mean, and so this bass player was sitting in front of me, and just watching, you know what I mean. And so it wasn't like, okay, here, let me show you. It's just like I'm breaking it down, and obviously he got it because he went the next morning and did the video. And was playing.
Well, this Louis T. Simpson, is that him here? Because
that's another one. Yeah, that's another friend of ours. Yeah, bad boy right there.
But the touch on that, that's something that interactive that we've talked about, and if we have the time, the class went really, when we're talking, went real fast. But that's something I had brought up because you remember Cat Gray from 13 Cats, and he played in Sheila's band, Mike.
What's his name?
Cat Gray and Taka, the drummer. Anyway, we did a class. We used to do a class at Musicians Institute, a funk class.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we used to bring cats up from the audience, critique that we would show them a thing, and we would critique them and show them, that's good, but hey, man, the pocket's here or that. But so that's something we talked about. But at this first one, we didn't really have the time to do it because it really went by really quick after we were breaking. We didn't even really get to play all the songs because people were interacting But maybe down the line in the future, we can add on an extra hour or something for for the kids who want to do an interactive lesson with us. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think too is because we all kind of grew up listening to musicians. We all kind of grew up and just liked certain musicians, and so that's why we are musicians today, because we were inspired by others. And so the thing here with the Masterclass is to inspire even young musicians, colleges, that want to play, that want to hear the music too. It's almost sort of kind of like if you went to see your favorite band and they're doing a rehearsal.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the show, but it's the rehearsal. It's the band. You know what I'm saying? It's like you going to see Prince, for an example, and he's stopping and breaking stuff down, and you're just there observing it, so it's sort of kind of like that almost. It's, even though it's a class, but it's like a lot of these people are fans that are coming, and then as we get into other musicians, showing them just how to play inside of a band situation. Now I know, Michael, you could probably agree with this. A lot of people that play the Prince music, I'm not sure what it is, why they're so busy. I don't
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own interpretation. You know, I had Prince come up to me. We were doing the musicology tour, and you know, we were playing "Get It Up," you know, and so you were sound check, and so you know, my bass was really loud in the arena, and I'm like, man, why is it so? I'm not so loud. So I kind of started holding back a little bit, and you know, he was at the board, and so you know, he obviously must have soloed my bass
to see what you were playing.
Yeah, and Chance, you know, Chance is playing the bass synth, you know, and so, you know, all of a sudden he comes up to me. Why are you playing so many grace notes? And I said, oh, am I? He says, yeah. He says, you know, you're playing a lot of stuff in between, and he says it's making it cloudy. It's too busy in an arena. You know what I'm saying? And he was saying, he said, you know, man, the part's already good. Play the part. And okay. For that, because you know, when you're in a big venue, you don't hear all of the ghost notes and stuff that we like. So it's like, you know, you have to leave all that out, and just play the part. So most music, I don't know why, but I don't know if it's excitement that makes me want to overplay it, you know. But most people overplay the music, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You just reminded me of a story. I was standing on the stage, and Levi and Prince were talking about Eddie Van Halen, and Prince had his guitar on, like he had just been playing something. And I walked up, and Levi was like, "Man, Prince, you don't like how Eddie Van Halen plays?" Prince said, "You can't hear all those notes in a stadium."
Right.
He said, "That's why I say click." He started playing all these long notes and, you know, bending them. Like, okay, Prince, that's why Prince is Prince.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Objectivity. A lot of musicians don't have it. They don't know what it's like. They can't formulate what it's like for the audience members.
No.
You know?
Yeah. And you know, and also too, let me just clarify something, you know, with the time ban, you know, because a lot of people are like, okay, is Morse Day with you? It's, you know, and so the thing is, this is just a different entity. It's a Masterclass, you know, and we are members of the time and Morse Day and the time. And so when you hear it, it's the same thing. It's you know, you hearing it, you know what I mean? And so, but I just want people to understand what this is. This is not a show where we're performing, where it's a class. And so we're breaking everything down. So a lot of the fans really kind of want to just come and see it just because. I mean, Monte and Bean has great stories. Monte breaks down the parts, you know, and how Prince layered stuff. And so people want to hear that. They want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to see how it was done. And see, with them, they were there from the beginning. Right. So it's people are really interested in hearing. You don't hear it at a show. At a show, it just goes by and it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
But for somebody to sit down with you and say, okay, hey, this is how it goes. I mean, you kind of walk away with something.
Yeah, and the fans enjoy it too. You know, we get Bean out front playing Black Cat, and that's a treat. You know, some people don't really realize that he plays guitar. I mean, a lot of musicians do, but the fans, when he say him get off the drums and come to guitar, that's a treat. And then he talks about Black Cat, and like I said, like Freeze Monty, you know, he talks about the layers and gives you what the chords are, you know, for the music nerds who, you know, are into theory, you know. So we try not to leave any stone unturned. We try and get the intellectual side, the fan side, and just the groove side, and more importantly, the groove side.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, Monty, you've been really quiet, Monty. Making sure you're okay.
Monty, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I was at the original 7 rehearsal. Jesse didn't show, but you guys were rehearsing.
Oh, imagine that.
At the women's club, you guys were rehearsing. And
I
what I remember is first off, I didn't realize that Jimmy was playing left-handed bass like a lot. I was sitting on his side, and I don't remember. Well, my main question is this: is that live? Did you guys also have a CP70?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No.
Because I had gotten to a conversation with Fink about like where was the piano, on their rig. And I said, well, what did the time do? He said, I don't think they had one. I said, what about like Gigolos Get Lonely Too?
We had
I Don't Want to Leave You. Like there's songs where it sounds like that's a CP70. Is it not?
Yeah, no, it's live. We used I don't know, on the 07 stuff it was something different, but in the first two tours it was Helping Still.
Yeah. I got you.
And it wasn't great.
No, those were those heavy pianos with pickup.
And it had string. I mean, it's built like it was a piano that kind of folded down, but it didn't have any dynamics, and Prince didn't like it, but we used it, but it didn't have the CP80 thing at all. But that's what we used. Yeah,
right. CP80. I'm sorry. Yeah, right. Okay, I was just curious about that. I got it.
Man, this is just amazing. I've always said to myself, this would be something fantastic for the Prince estate to really kind of gravitate towards, because if you really want to talk about continuing to move forward the legacy of Prince, to do it in that way where you're bringing the next generation in there and you're teaching them music and using his music and the satellite band's music as the foundation for those lessons. I mean, it's just such a win-win scenario to kind of help kids get involved into the music industry. And then again, Paisley Park is a studio. It just seems like all the pieces are there. It just seems like the most sensible things to do. Have you never been approached at all to, as far as, I know they got a lot of stuff going on, don't get me wrong.
Well, keep in mind, we just started, we just, that Sweetwater thing was our first endeavor, and it went over so well that we decided to keep it going. So we definitely have Paisley on our radar. If they'd have us, we definitely would love to do so. I mean, it only makes sense. So Mike, you're in there, hook it up.
I ain't in there.
He's not in there.
They don't let me in there.
Yeah.
I've been invited. It's not really my thing, Tori.
Yeah, so we're open to all of it, man. But hopefully that happens. It only makes sense for it to happen. Yeah. But we, like I said, we all already have a bunch of interested parties. So
yes.
So we're gonna be moving forward for sure.
So you said it was going to be in multiple. You're moving forward to doing it at college. Any specific places that you're talking about with this?
Well, we got a couple of offers on the table right now, and those will be mentioned here shortly. We got a couple of business things, and we're getting together, and we'll come back on the show and give you specific dates. It'll happen next year for sure. We're getting all our ducks in a row, and we want each class to be able to, really be able to put their best foot forward. So we're taking our time with it, but we'll have some more information for you here shortly. Top of the year, around Christmas time, we should have some stuff in order. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this way: in a non-committal way, what locations are on your wish list for places that you would like to try to hit?
Universities, definitely. Definitely some universities is what we're trying to do. Is be able to get in there. In the music classes, you know what I'm saying, and do our master class for a lot of the universities.
Yeah, all the major cities, Detroit, Chicago. Detroit's a huge. That's where we get the most love to this day. I can only imagine back in '81, but ever since I've been in the band, they go nuts for the time. Like it's 1981, and so definitely that would be great. Obviously, Minneapolis, that's the hometown. All the major cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York would be awesome. I know we could probably do something at Berkeley. They have a funk class up there, supposedly.
NYU, maybe.
Yeah, NYU.
Yes.
Y'all know Questlove was doing this for years, man. Questlove did this shit at Harvard. Think about that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He did it at Harvard. He had a Prince class at Harvard. Claire Schlupp. Think about that, y'all. Think about that.
Think about it.
Oh wow!
Think about that.
You see, Mike. Oh wow! Wow, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you got ties to universities. Des Dickerson works in a university. Susan Rogers works in the university.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So all those folks are in there. You got ins.
Yeah,
you got ins in some of these places.
Yeah, well, make it happen, Christopher. Make it happen, man.
I can send an email for you. Sure. Yeah, I'll got it. Man, Man, it's been such an honor to have all you guys here, man. And I obviously want to be respectful of your time, but I'm so glad this class is happening and that you guys are putting things together. If people wanted to kind of get on a waiting list, or what's the best way to kind of keep in touch with you guys to make sure that they don't miss any of these announcements? I mean, they can always come here, but
yeah, we're all on social media.
We're on social media.
Done a great job of putting us on IG and Facebook. So look for JMTF on all.
We all got social media. Yeah.
And just send us a DM us up. I think we have the email.
Yeah, we have
you
email.
can always email to us too. So
we're all on social media. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and there's a specific there. Yeah, all of the information is there. Like if you want to, email us, or if promoters, if you want to interested in, getting us everything, right. You can, you can go on there and put, we can go from there. You know what I mean? So the thing is really right now, and we're starting, believe it or not, we're getting some offers to do like small venues. Now we're not talking about even colleges. We're talking about small venues like in Detroit. Like a promoter hit us up and says, "Man, I could get you guys, and pack it out." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we're open, man. We're gonna be creative with this thing. It's unlimited. I mean, even though we play the time music, the Minneapolis music, but we're gonna play a lot of other music too. You know what I mean? We're gonna get into some R&B, some soul music, some rock, some a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? So so it's going to be a lot. It's really going to be a lot, but it's going to be how we do it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, is it going to be some of your stuff too, like some jelly on it, or she can get it, or any of that stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jelly on it. All right.
We'll do everything, man.
We'll do some money hits off that first record.
There you go. Yeah. All right. And I just helped you guys out. I just set up a link at funkatopia.com/timeband. TIMEBAND. So funkatopia.com/timeband will take you directly to JMTF's Facebook page. You guys have that set up. So that'd probably be the best source of information. So on Facebook. So you did that.
Well, wait, before we let these guys go,
man.
I gotta say, Freeze, I don't know how that thing with you and DOA, I don't know how that happened, but the world clearly needs more of that, man.
They should be ashamed.
That was some funk in your face, man.
They need to be ashamed.
Man, I didn't know what to do.
Him and DOA is ridiculous, man, too.
He's crazy.
I was waving my arms like cheetah.
That ain't fair,
bro. The funk got on me, man. I watched it like 10 times, man.
Absolutely scary. Both of them.
DOA is great, man. He does this Boogie Wednesdays, and he asked me if I would do a few tracks. So I just kind of wrote the tracks and I played the bass line. Then he takes it, puts this thing on, and then But
so nasty.
I'm just gonna say I love him, man. He's amazing.
He's ridiculous.
Very, very talented. But we just have fun, man. It's just fun.
Well, I just want to say that was hot. That's hot.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That was hot.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And Tori, what freak juice news do you have? Anything coming up here?
Well, I'm very honored to be playing for Leonard Peltier. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's like the Martin Luther King of the indigenous Native American. He was went to prison on like Mandela on trumped up charges, and Joe Biden pardoned him. And so we're doing it's a celebration of his life and his accomplishment this Thursday, actually. So I'm really happy about that. It's anytime I can do stuff like that, stand up for human rights. It's always I'm always about that. I love that kind of stuff.
Right. Where is that going to be?
That's going to be here in Jinx, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that where you live?
Pretty cool.
I'm in Tulsa right now. Yeah. My studio's in Tulsa. I got a spot out there in LA still, but I spend Freak Juice is based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I can get gigs here and they pay me.
Any other black people in Tulsa, or is it just you?
Oh, they got some black people.
Well, that's right.
Then I shot up the Yeah, Next time was here for Juneteenth. Yeah, so
I ain't spent enough time in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, you gotta come on. Yeah, we have running water and real bathrooms.
And
Okay.
Indoor plumbing. All right.
All right.
And Michael,
So
Michael, if you ever go,
come on down. You and Sonny, come on down. I got you.
And Michael,
come on down. What?
Come on.
if you ever go to a Freak Juice show, don't let Tori trick you. I went to a Freak Juice show, walk in, Tori's dabbing me up. Hey man, what's going on? He was just like, oh man, you look like you wear an XL shirt. What kind of shirt you wear? I said, I think it was XL. And he goes, oh, here you go, man. And he walks off. And then the girl at the table goes, that'll be $25.
Oh,
I learned it from Purple Rain. Jerome,
I got you.
That's pretty
Don't let him trick you.
Keep hustling, man. Keep hustling there, Tori.
Man,
All right.
Yeah.
That's my passion, my labor of love. You know? I get that money, man. I
was like, getting out my wallet. I was like,
That's funny. Somebody said water above 4 feet, no black people. I have to see for myself, man.
Yeah, you got to see for yourself. Yeah,
I get close enough, man. I'll take out the door.
Colors down here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And actually, the music scene is really healthy here, man. There's plenty of places to play. There's a bunch of wicked blues players and country players like my boy Sefley Jones. He puts out these videos. He's very scary. Paul Benjamin. There's some young kids, man. Charlie McGuire and Ian McGuire. There's a bunch of burning young guitar players, and it's a lot of it's really blues based, and they rock out, and it's the music. And then you got your jazz scene. Got some man. And then I have a new kid in my band that just amazing bass player. You and Sonny will love him, man. He's a horn. He's got those horn lines on his bass, bebop stuff. But he's funky too. So, they got some amazing players here, man. You guys would dig it.
Awesome, man.
And, Eric Clapton and those guys used to park here, and because it's in the middle of the country, they used to hang out here with J.J. Cale and. Yeah. Your boy, what's your boy? Not your boy. These machines kill fascists. He's on his guitar. Woody Guthrie has a.
He has a big.
Deion Russell's from here. So
okay.
Yeah, I didn't. With my boy Charlie Redd, he's him and Greg Sane. Long story short.
I've heard him talk about Charlie Redd before.
Morris Hayes. I was in a cover band at Trick Tracks in Austin years ago. They were in a Prince cover band. We played more time music. They played Prince music, and then here we are.
Did y'all do any shows together?
Yeah, we used to do shows together, and then but years later, Charlie told me, "Hey, man, Tulsa's just like Austin was in the 80s." And I got down here, man, and all the guys that were playing in bars, they all had houses, and I would go into their houses like, how much you paying for this? How much you paying for this? I couldn't believe how cheap it was. I couldn't get out of LA fast enough.
I feel you, man. I feel you on that. Good for you, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Speaking of Tulsa, I gotta just mention my boys. Charlie Wilson, Robert Wilson, and Ronnie Wilson.
Oh, yeah, they're from the Gap.
We're gonna talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I forgot they're from Oklahoma. I got
to give my boys some.
Yeah, I forgot.
Boys came out firing, okay?
and Greenwood, Archer and Pine.
Yeah,
that's the Gap band.
Yeah,
and
legendary.
And you drop the bomb on me has a little different meaning that everybody thinks about.
Sure.
So they were activists without being activists. So
yeah,
okay.
So anyway,
right on.
So got some history.
Man, that's amazing.
Good and bad.
Monty, what are you up to nowadays?
I am just writing and writing and writing.
Great.
I've done some country stuff. I've done a Christmas song. I've done some. I don't know. I'm just writing whatever comes out. So.
Awesome,
man, that's incredible.
Get some more projects going.
He has an amazing Christmas song that is, when I tell you it's a classic, I mean, when you hear it, he sounds like James Taylor. If you heard, you say, "Oh, that's James Taylor." Monte Moir, man.
Monte.
Yeah, he does.
Nice. What's the name of that song, Monty?
It's Christmas time around here.
Oh man, it's
It's
great.
like an old I was just messing around with something one day, and it's like an old 60s, something you would hear in the 60s, like I don't know.
Nice. I was
Dean
look for it.
Martin, you know, I mean, it's old school pop, really pop stuff. Kind of what I heard growing up, you know, in the house.
Somebody had a question. I guess this is for free. Is what is this DOA?
What is this?
He's asking what
DOA is.
What is
You tell him, Michael Bland.
DOA
Who is this DOA?
Not even who. They said what? What is this DOA?
What is this DOA?
He's not a man. He's a machine. The DOA. His name is Derek Allen, and he goes by the name DOA. He's a bad dude.
He's a bad man. Yeah.
Oh man, I jammed with him and Bobby G. They came down to Bunkers when they were rehearsing with you guys. And then, Bobby, come give me your phone number, man. What you be doing, man? Bobby tried to crowd me on the stage.
Yeah.
He and I actually have been talking a lot lately. We're gonna try to do some things.
Yeah.
Oh, you should.
Bobby's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, Dio. I think they, you know, he was back in the day with when we were doing all those Arsenio Hall shows. With my partner
Brucey.
Uncle Brucey. You know, Uncle Brucey put together 2 decades of late night television, and that's actually how I got the Morris Day gig, because we were doing late night television, and we either put together the bands or played and everything. Because that was back when everybody needed a band, like all the Arsenio Hall shows, all the late night television, everybody needed a band.
Yeah.
So we did like 80% of that. So when Morris came down,
awesome.
I was like, well, I got to play with Morris Day, you know. And then he called me for the band 2 years later. But DOA was part of that whole crew. We had a network of musicians that we put on the hits, man. Yeah. The glory days when you could get paid from doing music. Remember those days?
Kind of. It's becoming a fading memory.
Yeah, right.
Fading memory. That's a good one, Mike. That's what it is.
Getting paid for music?
Making records. Yeah.
Man, what an honor to have all you guys legends on here at one time. And this is just
this is incredible, man. This is I'm really happy to see all y'all, man.
Hey, man.
And you know,
Thanks for
we all
having me on.
statesmen and we're thriving still, and we're
There you go.
seeking new vistas and meeting new challenges, man. And we black.
Too late.
You too, Monty. You black also, Monty. You struggling with the rest.
I've heard that before.
That's all right. You must be. You must be somewhere in your family tree. You got to be a coconut or something in that tree.
a coconut.
Let me add this.
A plantain.
Let me add this.
We got pulled over.
We
got pulled over one time, and they said, "Black people, get out the van and let the white hostage go."
Oh.
Just kidding.
Oh no.
Let me say this about Monte. Monte is probably one of the coolest white boys. If you ever watch him play, I mean, and I'm sure naturally, you know, coming up under Prince and learning up under Prince, you know, Prince really showed them how they should stand. And if you just watch Monte Moir, man, he's the coolest white boy ever. So he does got some black somewhere down up in there, okay?
But he's all business in his face, is what I noticed.
Oh, for sure.
In Monty's face, you better take me serious.
What I'm playing.
Boy, don't mess with it. He'll cut you.
Hey, man, don't let the quiet fool you now.
I got it.
Fool you.
Don't let it fool you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My goodness.
Tori Ruffin,
Thanks
Jellybean Johnson,
Thanks for having us, man.
Monte Moir, Ricky Free Smith. Man, I tell you what, it has been an honor having you guys here. JMTF, the Time Band Masterclass. It came on here to let you guys know it's about to hit the road and going to hit some universities around the country. All you got to do is go to funkatopia.com/timeband, and that will take you right to the Facebook page for JMTF, where you can click follow and make sure that you stay up to date on all this information. Gentlemen, It has been an honor having you guys on here, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Great
man.
job.
Well, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
You know, pumping us up, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Good to see
Every
you,
day,
Mike.
all day.
Good to see you, Mike.
Yes. Good to see all y'all, man.
Love y'all.
It's a pleasure to
See you
meet
later.
you, Michael Bland.
Fantastic.
You the
Yes,
man.
Freeze. Yes, Freeze. Yes, Tori. Yes, Monty. Yes, Bean. Yes, yes. Look at him. Look at him. Now, look at him. Look at him right now before you can't see him no more. Oh, look at the JMTF.
Yeah, thank you all.
Love
so
y'all.
much.
All right.
All right, guys. See you
Take care,
next
y'all.
time.
All right, we'll see you guys later. All right. Yeah, man. Those are the legends, man. Come on now.
Woo!
Come
You
on.
forget till you get them all together, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm looking at history here.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will talk at you soon. Get some rest, folks, because it ain't over. It ain't over.
It ain't over.